So out again this morning for a bash at maybe a spring salmon. And as you can see, the water's somewhat lower than the last day we were here, which is about a week ago. So we're coming near the end of April now, and the tides are quite high at the minute. There was a full moon last night, and I don't know, the people who know say it doesn't make any difference, but it kind of, I don't know, it gives me a wee bit of confidence, you know. I'm sure that the people who know are absolutely right, you know. But nonetheless, I'm hopeful that there'll be a salmon down the bottom of this pool for us. He'll have come in off the tide this morning, just in the last few hours, and he'll be lurking down there, just waiting for us. That's my hope, anyhow. The forecast, unfortunately, is for bright sun for most of the day, so I'm going to try and get down to the bottom of here before the bright sun comes. The pool below here may now have a smoke trap on it, because the estate and the river and so on are very involved in all sorts of research and to try and save our salmon, pretty much. So the smoke trap's down there. I don't think it's working yet. I don't think they've started it yet, but it will start soon. But it might prevent us from fishing the pool. But that's the way it goes, you know. And it's all for a good cause. So what I'll do now probably is nip down onto the bridge and have a wee cast down the middle part of the pool. It's a bit tricky casting with the bridge behind you and the high banks and whatnot, but I would like to give it a wee fishing down today, just the whole way down if I can, or pretty much the whole way down, just in case, because I think there is a fair chance of a fish having come off the tides, you know. And I would say that most people would say that the river's at a better height today for oh, a wee trout splashed at the fly. Yeah, the river's at a better height for a chance of a fish today, so we'll see how that goes. So this pool is one of the great classic salmon pools, you know, in salmon fishing lore and history. This river is basically a grilse river. They basically don't fish for spring salmon. Occasionally there's a nutter like me, I'll come along and have a cast, but that's about it. So it's not a spring river, and it doesn't really even get fished for spring fish, you know. But this pool probably certainly had, I don't know, probably still has, its 5-year average is, there's that wee trout again, its 5-year average is higher than some quite decent rivers. There he goes again. So it is really quite a remarkable pool, you know. So I'm heading down towards the bottom of the pool. That was a wee trout or something just touched me. Heading down towards the bottom of the pool, and this bit always gives me more positive vibes. I always think a springer that has just come up the sort of rapids below, you know, he might lie in here. Feet. Okay. Into the fish, dropped them. Right, the springer. Ah, dear. That was definitely a salmon. So, that I would guess is my chance for the day. So, oh dear. And he was where I would guessed he would have been. But I don't imagine there's much point covering him again. Maybe if I rest him though, sometimes really aggressive fish will take again. Yeah, you know, you do hear reports of people, for example, catching fish with a fly in them that they broke off earlier. So there is always a slight chance that if I give him a little while, that he may come back. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing in view of the rarity of spring fish. So there we go, there's the smolt trap in the main flow there. And actually, I think I can get to fish the bit of the pool that I want to fish. So it'll not cause me too much trouble, and because I'm keen on just down around that wee wall bit. So I think I'll get a cast here. And the gauge is just down at 4, and it was, the last day I was here, it was at 6. So 4 I think is a good height, you know. 6 is just maybe a shade high, but 4 is fabulous height, ideal for what I'm doing. So I'll maybe have a quick cast down this and then a cup of tea. I've got some blue sky up there, I don't know if you can see it, you see, and I would like to get at least a run down this, just this wee bit, before the blue sky comes. Because once the blue sky comes, I'll gain a bit of wind, probably. The wind will come up and it'll probably be in my face. And it depends how much wind again, but obviously it makes life a wee bit more difficult. I don't know what it is, but not a salmon. looks actually like a wee smolt, maybe. Yeah, I would say so. Making his way back to the sea. Some wee fish. Got my fly. I think it's on, so I don't think I want to get rid of it. So I had a couple of smolts in there, and I want to leave them alone. So, I'd given it a fairly good fishing anyhow, but as soon as I hit a couple of smolts, I think I'll call that quits on the sea pool, because the smolts need left in peace and quiet to get back to the sea. So we'll leave them alone, and I'll make my way back up and have a cup of tea, I think. So what can I say? I can't resist giving this a second wee belt, you know. Having sort of dropped that fish earlier, I can't really say I lost it, I don't think, because it was only on for a few seconds. I hope the ground behind me, I felt it touch it. But I think it can do no harm to give it just another go, just in case, for a start, more than one salmon come in, which is always a possibility. And also, in case that fish might just come again. Because I know sometimes taking fish are taking fish, and they will, you know, they'll take the fly twice in a day or something like that. So I think it's worth covering it again, not with great hope, but nonetheless with a sort of, not with zero hope, you know. It was a wee jerk just from a wee trout or something. So I think whatever it was there isn't going to come back. Dear knows where it is by now. It's probably away up in the hills somewhere. So I've walked up the river now. Gonna give it a bash up here. There's sometimes a springer in here. But people always seem to lose them in here when they hook them. So doesn't bode well. I'm also getting like wee black flies. Don't know where they're coming from. They're kind of annoying. However, it is a lovely pool. And as you can see the river upstream as well. Looks glorious, you know. So what I'll do is I'll have a wee fish down this bit, and then I'll go down and fish the tail of it. Again, I'm trying to get all this done while I still have at least some clouds, you know. So I don't know if you can see how clear that is in there. You see, the water's really clear and clean, which I guess adds to the challenge a wee bit, but we'll give it a wee cast down here. I'm sort of moving towards the tail of the pool, and feeling hungry. In fact, I'm hungry. It really seems to be the main interest that I have just at the minute. With the sun, there's a wee bit of heat in it, you know, and it seems to be causing lots of flies to come off, so the wee trout are all moving, you know. And talking about moving, I'm getting wild peckish for my lunch, so I think what I'll do is call it quits for the fishing just for a little while and have some lunch. I've got rolls with me again today, which isn't like me, I know, but it's just taking a fancy to rolls just for a minute. I've had my lunch, now I'm having a wee cup of tea. And what a wonderful place for your lunch and a wee cup of tea, eh? Just an amazing river, this. And the area that it drains is large, but it's dominated by big lochs. So it actually flows out of lots of lochs. And the salmon can get into the river in nearly any water conditions. Especially with a high tide like there was today, you know, full moon last night, you know. So, but what an incredible place, like, to get the chance to fish. It's just, even without a fish, it's just amazing to come and sit here and watch the world go by, you know. And I'm pretty convinced I lost a salmon earlier, so there is a fish here, maybe only the one. And again, I need to highlight this is a grilse river, and a spring fish is just doesn't happen, you know. I mean, for the whole island there might be 5 spring fish for a year, but nonetheless it's just for a great day out, you know. And when the grilse are in here, this produces a lot of fish, you know. Some years back I was in the fishing shop in town, and there was a visitor there, and he was wondering whether he could get fishing and should he fish. And there were also 3 completely random anglers, you know, just standing in the shop, and we got talking. And between the 3 of us, we'd had 20 salmon on the previous day, and we're in stocking up on more flies, basically. So we were trying to convince this chap that you really should get out there, you know, and give it a cast. And one of the chaps I was talking to had been here, and he had 8 for his day, I think. So, you know, when things are going well, even when things aren't going well, it produces a fantastic amount of fish, and of course fantastic fishing. So I think I'm going to start and head back down the river. It's getting awfully bright, and although there looks to be quite a lot of cloud about, it's like the sun's beaming down on me the whole time, you know. I don't know how it manages to do that. So I'm going to work my way back down, and I'll maybe have a throw at those pools I started on, below the old bridge, just to finish off the day. But I suspect I missed my chance. Maybe I struck him too quick. I was a trout yesterday, and maybe I just hit him too quick or something. I just don't know, but I'm pretty certain it was a big fish, and the only big fish in here are salmon. When I say a big fish, I don't mean like it was a 40-pound salmon or something, but, you know, it wasn't a 4-inch trout or the things you normally get wee bumps and nibbles from, because I'd lifted the rod into it, and I could feel there was big weight on the rod, and then it just disappeared, you know. What a shame. So I'm going to give this a quick rundown again. What can I say? Usually, certainly once I've fished this top bit, I don't bother fishing it again. But just today, you know, I'm working on the principle that if there's one fish in here, there might be another one. On the basis that they probably rarely travel entirely alone, you know. So So I'm just going to swing the fly through here first before I go onto the bridge and then go on down the pool. So I've given this wee bottom bit of the pool a good wee going over, I would say, and no sign of a fish. So I'll move down a couple of minutes on the pool below, and I think that'll do me for the day. You know, I think I've given it pretty much as much fishing as it needs. You know. I think if there was a fish here, then I would have had him by now, and I think I had him on earlier in the morning, and that's just the way it seems to be. The fish come in from the sea overnight, bang, first cast over them, hook them, and if you're not hooking anything, then basically they're not there. Or maybe they're there, but they're simply not taking fish. And I don't know what makes it taking fish, but so that'll do me here, down a pool. So I'm going to have a last wee throw down here just and call it quits. That's, I think, enough fishing for one day. Great day out, you know. And it's a fantastic place. And the river's in cracking order, you know. But I was just a bit unlucky early on to drop the only fish I moved. Again, moving a spring fish at all is, you know, it's a fairly remarkable thing to do on a fishery that doesn't get a spring run, you know. So, I mean, I'm not at all displeased with how it went. I had a cracking fight one autumn on this wee bit of ground here with a big coloured fish, you know. And halfway through the fight, the fish decided it was going to join me on the grass, and so it jumped clean out of the water. And on realising that it had jumped clean out of the water and that didn't suit it, I suppose, it then elected to get back in again. And the fight continued for some considerable time after that. But nonetheless, it was the funniest thing to be standing here wondering how I was going to land this thing when all of a sudden it just joined me on the bank, you know. So I think that'll do me for today. I think I've put a fair bit of effort in. And I sort of feel that I've covered all the obvious spots. And I'm pretty certain I had a fish on for a few seconds, but that was not to be, so pretty interesting sort of day, you know. And such a fantastic river, fantastic to get a day out. Just can't beat it.